The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends. Top right-hand corner of the screen right there. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. One of the ways we do that, of course, is our player profiles, coaches' corners, and all that fun stuff that we have on the show, which highlights our local athletes and coaches. We have another great one for you today. It is going to be a United senior Addie Blazer. She'll be profiled on today's episode of Running Point. Don't miss that a little later on in the show. We're obviously going to recap the action that was last night and preview the action that's tonight, like we always do. That's the drill on Running Point. You know it. We know it. We all know it well. It's going to be a fun time. Let's get right into it today and hop onto the scoreboard, which is on ysnlive.com. And it is brought to you by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. This is a great tool for our fans, whether you're at one of our games or watching one of the broadcasts, maybe even both. We'd love it if you do both. The YSN scoreboard is a quick and easy way to get live, updated scores of your favorite teams, whether it be your rival or your friends. You don't want to look away from the game you're at for too long, so the YSN scoreboard is a quick and easy way to find your scores. They are live updated by a great team of workers behind the scenes to make sure you don't have to wait until midnight for the final scores to come in. We jump into last night, January 24th, 2024. And like every Wednesday, we had some battles inside the AAC. And we start with Austintown Fitch traveling to Canfield. And the Cardinals get a much-needed win inside the conference as they beat Fitch by the final score. Let me reload this because I think it's still stuck on yesterday when I was on the show. Okay, there we go. There are the scores. I was about to say, I know we had those updated. Final score of 46-35. The final for Canfield, getting some good home cooking and the win. Cammie Ritz and Grace McQuiston are the ones that had big games for the Cardinals. They were the players of the game. You can find post-game interviews with both of them and Coach Matt Reel on YSN's YouTube page, along with the story article on this game on ysnlive.com. Ty Bartell doing a really good job down there and traveling with the Falcons. I know he usually gets in the Falcons' nest for their home games, but this time being able to go on a road trip with them to Canfield, it didn't go Fitch's way, but that was one that Canfield really, really needed to bounce back from, that double overtime loss to Boardman on the horizon. So they had to get a win. Boardman, on the other hand, the ones that gave Canfield that double overtime loss, they went to Mooney and they had no letdown against the Cardinals of Mooney as they win this one 53-39 on the road. Boardman still looking good, still looking very motivated and predominant after that 2 overtime win over the weekend. West Branch wins the EBC with the matchup with Carrollton. They have crowned it. It's over. It's done. Lock, stock, barrel. The Warriors of West Branch are your EBC champions. They win over Carrollton. Final score is 59-23, so no problem there for West Branch. Livy Showalter was your player of the game in this one. You can find an interview with her from Michael Janaki on our YouTube page, as well as on the story article for this game on ysnlive.com. Just like Ty Bartell, Michael Janaki doing a great job with his games, his calls, his post-game interviews, and he also wrote the story. Battle in the Steel Valley Conference goes to Ursuline, and it really wasn't much of a battle. Ursuline uses a very balanced attack. They have 4 players in double figures as they win over Cheney. Final score here was 75-41. And Cheney did have Alyssa Brown with 29 points, which was a game high. But like I said, Ursuline with 4 players in double figures, with Lily Scott, Meredith Gray, Carly Casey, and Julie Lee, and Kennedy Carpenter, all in double figures. Heartland Christian could not overcome Edison on the road as the Wildcats get the win 77-64. There's the final there. Salem gets edged by Marlington, and I should really correct it and say they get edged by Chelsea Evanich, because she alone scored 36 points for the Dukes and was probably the only reason why Marlington got this win. I mean, Salem, offensive-wise, was much more balanced, much more of what you typically want out of a team. But when you have Chelsea Evanich, who's a bona fide superstar program leading scorer, when she goes off for 36, it's kind of a wild card in that scenario. And she does that. Marlington gets to win 59-50 over Salem. No problems for Warren JFK as they welcomed in St. Thomas Aquinas last night. The Eagles protect their home with a 56-46 win. I think they got a little bit more than bargained for from St. Thomas Aquinas, but still able to get the win by 10. And the Eagles under the radar on the girls' side. Unlike the boys, who are not under the radar at all, they have the light shine very brightly on them. The girls a little bit under the radar, but having a really good season. Do not sleep on Warren JFK. Howland doing battle with Warren Harding. Remember, Harding was the one that came and upset Fitch over the weekend, 32-29. And they were able to play pretty solid defense against Howland's offense. But the Tigers still up for the task, 33-22, the win there for the Tigers. But 33 is a very low number to hold Alyssa Masucci in that offense too. We keep going with the scoreboard as Perry edges Jefferson in girls basketball, 45-40, the final score there. Madison all over Lakeside. Final score for this one was 68-23. We have Edgewood. They are still undefeated, 14-0 as they go on the road and beat Geneva. Final score there was 57-48. McKenna Ventzel dropped 21 in this game. She's trying to find an offensive groove. I mean, that's 19 in her last full game, because in the South Range game, she had to leave early with an injury, which we're all happy that she's back from with no problems. But the game before South Range, she dropped 19. Doesn't play a full game at South Range, comes back and plays at Geneva, drops 21. So if she's starting to score like that, to add to Katie McAllister, Avery Ventzel, and Faith Ventzel, then you have the Ventzel trio all rolling on all cylinders. Edgewood could be a very dangerous team, and a little bit different than last year when it was pretty much the Casey Kanicki show on offense, averaging 26 per game, with Katie McAllister, the only other player last year that was even in double figures for averaging 11. She's averaging much more this year, but now you have other players stepping up and getting a lot more points this year as well. Very impressive what Coach Ventzel has done down there in that Edgewood locker room. Grand Valley gets the win at home over Middlefield Cardinal. They are conference champions. Congratulations to the Mustangs. as they win 55-28 over Middlefield Cardinal to secure that spot, that seat on the throne. Let's go to Orange boys basketball now. Orange against West Geauga, and West Geauga gets the better of the Lions. Final score there, 70-55. Geneva beats Edgewood 65-59 last night. Pymatuning Valley all over Maplewood 78-47. And last but not least, last night, Warren JFK made the road trip to Canton to play their second game in 2 days, but they fall to the Crusaders on the road. Final score here was 70-56, and it's the busy weekend. It's not over for JFK. They have 1 day off today. They're back in action on Friday as they go to Mogador. So a couple of road trips in a row for the Eagles. Once again, they are at Mogador on Friday, so that'll be 3 games in 4 days by the time Saturday rolls around for Warren JFK. No rest for the weary as we barrel towards the end of January, right? I mean, it is it's crazy. Now we have some conferences wrapped up, right? West Branch, they are EBC champions. Grand Valley wrapped up a conference championship. Edgewood's well on their way, but Madison on their heels, winning again against Lakeside. Perry is still on their heels, too. I mean, you look at Perry winning against Jefferson, putting pressure on Edgewood. But as we go into some teams wrapping up conferences, I do want to take the time to bring up our standings page on ysnlive.com. You can see it right here, standings next to scores on the toolbar up there, which is presented by R.L. Craig. And you look at the AAC on the girls' side. The boys, it's Canfield with a 3-1 record. Warren Harding 3-1, and Austintown Fitch now 3-1. So all those teams are tied at the top. So yeah, logjam on the boys' side. They have a little bit more time left in their season. But look at this girls' side. Boardman's now 4-1, Fitch 3-2, Canfield 3-3. And then Howland is sitting there at 2-2. So you look at it, and it's still chaotic. And I said, well, maybe Canfield has lost their chances to get up top, but they're really 2 games back. Now, the hard thing for Canfield is they will not play Boardman again. But Boardman still got to play Howland again. They still got to play Fitch again. So you really start to wonder how this AAC will fall. And Canfield beating Fitch last night really was a blessing for Boardman, because now they're all alone up top, 4-1, and they can really control their own destiny. So it's really chaotic, but Boardman all of a sudden, because Canfield beats Fitch, they are in the driver's seat, and they do have the means right in front of them if they win out in the AAC to go and just win the conference outright. I don't think anyone can sneak their way in unless Boardman falls at that point. So Boardman has it all in their hands, and it's all thanks to Canfield knocking off the Falcons last night to give them their second loss in the conference of the year. That's back-to-back conference losses for Fitch. They came into the last 7 days. They came into last weekend, at least, undefeated in the AAC. And Warren Harding knocks them off, and then Canfield returns to favor as well, knocking them down at home. So we're going to have to see how the rest of that AAC goes. I'm very intrigued because even Howland is a team down there with just 2 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses. They haven't played as many league games as the teams up top, but they're 1 game back, and they have another matchup with Boardman on their slate too. So I think the AAC, while Boardman has their foot on the gas and they have their seat on the top and they control their own destiny, you would be silly to think it's not wide open. I mean, everyone except Warren Harding is really in the hunt. And even Canfield now. I mean, it's crazy to think because they've lost to Boardman twice, but just 2 games back, it's a small conference. You have to hope for some help from the other teams. You would love it, honestly, from Howland, who you still have a game with and you've beaten. I think Canfield would love if the Tigers, who are below them in the standings, were able to knock off Boardman, because Fitch knocking them off doesn't really help Canfield because, of course, they're still a game back of Fitch. So it'll be really interesting to see how this AAC shapes up. But we're not surprised about that, right? I mean, we talked about it all season long, how crazy and bonkers this AAC was going to be. So if you're surprised that the AAC is sitting here in a logjam, then I don't know, maybe you haven't been listening to our show all season long, because before we even started, we talked about how excited we were for this AAC. All the teams playing really well. No one's going to go undefeated because it's kind of like the SEC. They're all going to beat each other up. And I think that's going to be one of the things that you can use to call the AAC probably, I think, the best girls conference in the area this year. I don't think it's even close, because their records aren't there. I get it. There are conferences with better records. There are conferences with probably higher RPI teams. But at the same time, they're beating each other up. And that's just like kind of the SEC in football, right? They're beating each other up. And that's one of the reasons why the record's not conducive of a great conference. But, no one's going undefeated. And the second place team and the third place team have 2 and 3 losses. So you're right there. But Boardman, the team on top right now. And I think coming into this year, a lot of people were writing Canfield into that spot. Now, I know that's because they had it last year. They did a lot of good things last year, and they do have a lot of talent on that team. Lost a lot last year, but still have a lot of returning talent. So I get why people put Canfield up top. I even was leaning towards Canfield being the favorites, because I'm a firm believer in you're the favorite until you're not, right? Until someone comes and beats you, there's no reason not to think you're the favorite. But Boardman has stepped in and said, hey, no, we're the favorite. Boardman's the favorite right now. And if there were spreads in high school sports, they would be favored in all the rest of the league matchups. So I think the point I'm driving home is it's their job to go and take it. They have to go take that conference. And I think it would be the first girls AAC conference championship for Boardman in quite some time. It would be a big one if Coach Hamilton and the Spartans were able to pull that off and get a conference championship. Long way to go. They have business to take care of, but a good win last night against Mooney outside of the conference to give Boardman a little bit of that momentum, a little bit of that drive forward after such an emotional and draining double overtime win over Canfield over the weekend, kind of hitting that reset button last night, I think, Boardman, and getting back to, dominating basketball, not being sweating down the fourth quarter, and winning the way the Boardman knows how to win. Great defense is what really separates Boardman. They can score just like everybody else. Everyone in that league, talked about it before, everyone in that conference has a very good superstar type scorer. Ayla Ray, Mackenzie Riccatelli, Alyssa Masucci, Cami Ritz. I mean, they're all averaging double figures for a reason. So they all have their go-to players. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm leaving Warren Harding out. They're down on the bottom. They're struggling. They're not a YSN team, so I don't know much about who they have to score. But those 4 YSN AAC teams, all 4 of them have players to go to in we need to score situations. So Boardman has separated themselves this year not by what their offense is able to do, but their defense. And I think in that Canfield game, starting to get away from it a little bit. So to hit that reset button, get the defense back on track against a Mooney team that came in hot. Remember, Mooney got the win on Monday with a very good offensive performance. So they were coming in feeling good, and the defense played really well on the road. Defense travels. That's the sports cliche, right? Defense travels. So Boardman looking good in the AAC driver's seat. Other conferences wrapped up. EBC championship has been squared away. West Branch won that, and Grand Valley also conference champions as we gear towards more and more being decided. I think Crestview can all but win it on Monday if they're able to take care of Champion. If not, Champion could sneak in and tie that conference. That's going to be a big one in a couple of days here. I think Poland is right on the precipice of winning the NE8. They're one game up. As long as they don't kind of falter, they've already beaten Girard the second time. So they're right there. They're trying to secure the NE8. EOAC is still coming down between Canfield and United. That could be a three-way tie. So we have a lot of conferences up in the air as we steam towards the end of January and the start of February, and closer to figuring out the tournament outlook using this new Max Preps RPI program, which I think is going to be fun to kind of figure out and kind of dice up. It's not two districts anymore, right? You can get RPI now. You can get someone from everywhere, right? So you could have a Crestview who would never play Doylestown, Chippewa in years past until regionals. That could be a district matchup. It's all about RPI now. So they're not breaking it up into district. Now it's RPI, right? So you could have a Crestview versus Doylestown, Chippewa in a district championship. Or forget this, you could have Crestview versus Waynedale or Crestview versus Warrensville Heights. There's been the big guns of that regional for the last couple of years. So those teams could easily wind up in our district with the way that it is now configured with this RPI ranking. So don't forget that, and that's what makes this tournament really exciting. We're going to see a lot of new faces that we're not used to seeing in our district rounds here in the Valley. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on conference races as we continue on Running Point. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll have a player profile to feature for you. United Senior, Addie Blazer.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Sheely's is more than a furniture store. We're a hub for all of your appliance needs. We offer the widest selection at everyday low prices, with over $1 million of in-stock inventory from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, LG, GE, and more. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales staff can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. We're there for you beyond your purchase to service what we sell and offer free local delivery with 24-month special financing. Sheely's, the best things in life happen at home.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on, call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends. Top right-hand corner of the screen right there, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same on here on this show every single day, and one of the ways we do that, of course, is player profiles being featured on this show every day, and today is no different. We are traveling back to Hanoverton to have a profile with Addie Blazer. It was a great conversation. Addie Blazer, the senior point guard, brings a lot to the basketball floor for United, brings leadership, that's first and foremost, but also brings, dynamic point guard ability. She's tall, 5'10", that's a pretty dang good height for a point guard right there, especially at this level of high school. You don't see a lot of point guards that are sitting there at 5'10". That's hard to guard, but also just confidence. And I think it's really important because United lost a lot of ball handlers last year. Maddie Kibler's gone, right? So you lose a lot of ball handlers, and you're looking at Addie Blazer, and Sir Coach Leak had this conversation like, you're it. You're our point guard now, and you're going to be the one that is going to be solely responsible for running our offense with your ball handling ability. So Addie Blazer is taking a big step up. No more safety nets with a couple of other seniors last year that were also good at what she does. It's all Addie Blazer's show running the point. And she has been doing a really good job this year. Has career records at United for assists and steals, season records, game records, basically every record you could have in the program for assists and steals is a big reason why she's one of the best players in the area. We talk about all of that. We also talk about trying to get United back to its legacy years and what that has been like for her going through high school and seeing a little bit of a resurgence of that United basketball program. We know how good they were in the 2007 through 2013 years where they were winning league championships. They won 5 in a row, 08, 09, 10, 11, 12. I was wrong. Okay, 08, 09, 10, 11, 12. 13, 6 in a row, 5 in a row is they have a big poster in the gym, 5 in a row, but I think they won it in 13 too. I could be wrong. My ability to recollect the past is not as strong as it used to be, but they were definitely a powerhouse. Roger Ziegler coached them into a lot of really, really big, awesome things, winning a lot of leagues. And then of course, Sam Mathias took over after him, took him to regionals a couple of times. So they had a very good stretch, and this whole senior class has been trying to put them back into that kind of program. They've done a really good job doing that. So without further ado, you can stop listening to me talk and start listening to Addie Blazer talk about her career at United. Here is a great player profile for you, I should say. On Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet. And Anthony Hartwig here with you. We have a United girls basketball player profile, our second of the season. And we had to talk to Addie Blazer this year with what she's putting together. Addie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
So it's your senior season. We've talked to another senior in Grace Knight, and What's it like this year going through United and going through your senior year, knowing that it's kind of the last time you got the chance to do everything that you want to do at United?
It means a lot to all of us. This group of us, we've been together for a really long time, and it's kind of like a full circle moment to where we can finally finish everything we ever dreamed of doing.
You know, I'm sure some of the dreams that you had included what you've done this year already. I mean, you look at the records you've broken. You have every assist record United can ever have, every steal record that United has. This is a prestigious program, so to break those records is pretty amazing. What was it like to go through and get those milestones?
I'm just really thankful for my teammates that helped me get to those points, especially the assists. I couldn't have done it without Taylor Cope last year. Most of my assists probably came from her. And Grace, she's probably over half of my assists. And, I couldn't get those records without my teammates. So,
yeah, let's talk about just, what that means to you. And we talked about, your teammates and how much they mean to you, especially with the assists, like you said. Have you been able to put into perspective yet what that means and what those records kind of mean, and the fact that your name's going to be on the record book for a long time? I mean, have you been able to process that yet?
Not really. I'm sure after the season's over, it's probably going to set in a little bit more, but right now I'm just kind of living in the moment and just very thankful.
So you're the point guard of this team, and you've been running the offense for quite a while. What's that like with all the responsibilities that get put on a point guard? Not only do you have to go out there and focus on your own game, but you have to know where everyone's supposed to be, where everyone's going to be. You have to get the ball to where it has to go. And the point guard touches the ball more than everybody on the court. So what's that been like for you, dealing with all the responsibilities of a normal senior leader, but then also, shouldering the responsibilities of a point guard?
It's a lot of responsibility, and I think me and Coach Leake have kind of come to an understanding that, I'm going to turn the ball over more because I have the ball the most. And I'm having more turnovers than I did last year, but I had Maddie Kibler to help me handle the ball last year. So it's not really a burden, but it's a little bit more responsibility I have to handle, and just something I have to deal with.
When it was presented to you, like this year, it's going to be you running the point, and it was probably something you could see a little bit on the horizon after Maddie graduated last year. What were some of your thoughts, and what were some of the things that you wanted to get nailed down before the season even started?
One of the things I knew was my weak point was I'm not a great shooter, but I have people around me that can shoot, and I know that I need to get the ball to them. And it's just me and Coach Leake had a conversation. He was like, you're kind of the main ball handler now. There's no one that's really going to be able to help you like Maddie did. And I did know that, but I wasn't really prepared for it at that point. But as the season got going and stuff like that, I got a little bit more used to it.
Is there a point in this season where you feel like the confidence in your own point guard abilities really bloomed, and you kind of felt like comfortable in that spot, and you kind of understood that you can do it, you can handle it?
Yeah, I think I'm getting more comfortable in that, and I'm getting to that point. I don't think I've really hit it yet where I'm like, yes, like this is my job, but I'm getting there.
We talked about the prestige of this United program, and you can't go into the gym without seeing the championship banners up there for girls basketball. They have a big sign on the scoreboard that, highlights the 5 back-to-back conference championships they had in the early 2010s. When you look at all that stuff and you know what kind of success this program has had, how proud are you that as a senior group, you've kind of put United back on the map, and you've been able to put this girls program back in the conversation of getting in the districts and in the conversation of the EOAC? What's that mean to you?
Oh, it means so much. And it means even more that we can be winning these games. And then the younger kids, like the 5th graders, the 7th graders, the 6th graders, all of them, like they're coming and they're seeing us winning games. They're seeing the championships. And it's just kind of setting into their minds that, hey, we can do this. Like we can carry this on and stuff like that. And it's just, it's heartwarming, and I love it.
You're talking about the freshmen now that are seeing that, but when you came in as a freshman, it was a different story. You wanted to build that. Talk about what it was like as a freshman coming in and noticing all that stuff in the gym and noticing all the stuff that this program was not too long ago. What was it like trying to build it back, and what kind of things went through your mind as a freshman, as a sophomore, just trying to get United back to that standard?
As a freshman, we had a pretty awesome senior leader, Destiny Hill. She had that end goal in mind, and she got us there. I don't think we would be the same without her. We actually were talking about that at practice the other day. Me and Grace, we were like, honestly, she was kind of scary, but like she kept us together. She kept our heads where we needed to be, and it translates to how we help each other now.
You think you and Grace are ever kind of scary for the freshmen here? Do you think there's ever a moment where they're like, these girls are kind of scary a little bit?
Probably. We try not to be, but I think sometimes we're a little intense for them,
right.
But it's okay.
Got to get stuff done, man.
Yeah.
Was the tradition of United ever daunting for you as a freshman? Did you ever kind of, put a little bit more extra pressure on yourself as a young kid to look at that stuff and try to get it back to where it was?
A little bit. I think there's more pressure on me now than there is as a freshman, just to carry the legacy on. I feel like there wasn't the expectation that there was then as there is now, but I'd rather have the expectation, to be honest.
Exactly. Expectations only come when you're successful, right? So those are the things that just kind of come with being good and winning games. When you talk about the expectations that come with winning, and now the expectations that come with people knowing that you're going on to play at the next level, how have you been handling all that? The expectations that you feel from not just the coaching staff, but even more the fans of United and the outside people that look at United now as a winning basketball program?
It's just a lot. I think I'm handling it well. I made the goal for myself to decide where I wanted to go before the season starts, so I didn't have to worry about that on top of the season and everything like that. And I'm just really thankful for my coaches now, my coaches in the past, because they really got me to where I am right now. And the whole community was just very supportive, and I was just super happy to make the decision.
Let's talk about that decision. Going to Bethany now, being a player that's going to play at the next level. What went into that decision, and what made it so easy?
I was between two schools, but honestly, the education at Bethany fit me better, and I love the coaching staff, and I met a lot of the girls while I was down there, and it's just the environment that they already have. Even though the coach is relatively new, it's something I knew I wanted to be a part of.
What were some of your first impressions when you went down there of the program and of the coach and of the teammates that you're going to have very, very soon?
It was just very warm and welcoming, and they wanted to have fun. They wanted to win. It's very competitive. Coach Lopez wants to play very fast. She wants to play good defense, and it was just something that I was all about.
All right, so let's talk about the education part of it. You said that it fit your education wants a little bit better. What do you want to go and continue your career in? What kind of things do you want to study at Bethany?
I'm planning on majoring in mathematics, and then with that, pursuing a career in actuary science.
A math major, so your numbers, man. You're a lot of numbers. What drove you to want to go into that kind of career path?
I'm always been real into numbers. Ever since I was little, I just liked numbers, and I liked figuring things out, and it was just something that fit me.
So basically, you were just looking into what career can I use math the most? Because in actuary, I mean, that's all about just numbers, right? You can do math anywhere, which I think is a good thing about that career path. Is no matter what the environment is or what the you don't have to worry about economy when you're dealing with actually. You can be an actuary anywhere at any time, no matter what's going on. which has got to be very exciting for you. Let's talk about your schooling in United. What have been some of your favorite things to learn about in United? What have been some of your favorite subjects in the school?
I am taking physics right now, and it's not something that I've done a whole lot, and it's just super interesting to learn about. And I love the teacher. She's great. My math teachers all throughout my whole schooling have been awesome. I can't thank them enough. And it's just been, all the teachers here are just very supportive of all of the children and their whatever they want to do. And I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Physics is just science trying to be math. So
yeah,
no shocker that you're good at that too. Shout out some of those teachers that you're talking about that have been impacts to your journey and have helped you so much in your scholastic journey at United.
Mrs. Cooper is my physics teacher. She's awesome. Mrs. Meals has been my math teacher for 3 out of 4 years of high school. She's awesome. Mr. Kilroy, he helped me a lot with math. Mrs. Hargrove, she's the English teacher. She taught me a lot. It was probably one of my tougher classes, but it's going to help me. And then Mrs. Vargalotti, she was my teacher for Teacher Appreciation Night that we did. She is the STEM teacher now in the elementary, and she's just been so supportive of whatever I've done in all of my years of school, and she's just been a very positive light in my life.
One of the things we learned very quickly about United is it's its own little world down there in Hanoverton. You're by yourself. There's the closest thing to United is miles away. What's it like being in a school where it's literally its own little community? You have so much support, and all that there is to do down there is pretty much your game. So you're the only show in town. You get a lot of support that way too. What's that been like for you?
It's awesome. This community is just so supportive of everything. Even if you're not having the greatest year, people are still going to show up for you. People are still going to keep up with your sport. It's an amazing place to be.
What makes that United gym feel like home to you? I mean, every gym has its unique character, but I think United more than most because it's in that bowl and it's kind of down low. What makes that gym feel like your home when you're playing home games?
The crowd. If we can get a crowd there, I know it's going to be a good day. Especially when we have all of our youth come. It's when the youth players show up, the environment is just so great because you're trying to play good for them, so they have that idea that this is how I need to play, and they look up to you, and you just know you have to perform for them.
When those little kids show up, the youth players, the reality is right in your face that you're a role model. I mean, people are watching you saying, I want to be like Addie Blazer when I grow up and get on varsity. What's that been like for you to realize very quickly that there are people watching you, wanting to be like you, wanting to emulate what you're doing on the floor?
It's a lot of pressure, but it's also very comforting to know that they're always there. I coached a 5th grade team this year, and they're just I love them. They could not ever say enough good things about me. Even if I thought I played the worst game ever, they were still going to be like, you played so well. And it's very, very fun to see them.
And talk about coaching a little bit. Let's get a coach's corner with Addie Blazer. What's that been like to you to see basketball from that side of the floor and to be able to coach and build fundamentals down there at the 5th grade level?
My 5th graders are awesome. They are very receptive. They're like little sponges. I can say something and they're like, okay, I got it. And they'll go out and they'll do it. They have lapses just like everybody else, but for the most part, they're just very good learners. They're very good kids. And I can't say enough about them. They're awesome.
Has it taught you anything about maybe something that Coach Lee goes through that you didn't know before you got into coaching? Like, oh, this is this is something I didn't know about coaching, or this is something that I can have a little bit more of a respect about what Coach Leak goes through.
Oh, I can definitely see why he gets frustrated with us sometimes. That opened my eyes a little bit, because you can tell them something and they'll be like, yeah, I got it. And they'll go and like half do it. And you just got to like sit there and be like, okay, but you also got to do this. And now I understand why Coach Leak gets so mad at us sometimes.
Yes, it's perspective, Addie. Before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to take the light off of you and shine it on your support system. Give all the shout outs to all the people in your life that support you and that are always in your corner. I want to give you as much time as you want to shine a light on those people.
My dad has been a huge supporter of everything that I've ever done. Throughout my soccer career, even though it was not his favorite sport ever, he still showed up. My mom has been my soccer coach forever. My dad has been very, very supportive of my basketball journey, driving me to and from AAU practice, AAU tournaments. He's just been a very, very big support in my life. He gave me one of my favorite nicknames. He calls me Ace. And funny enough, he always does the 2 horns for Bethany in the stands. And I just know that when I see that, everything else is gone and it's just basketball. So I'm just very thankful for him.
And everyone outside thinks he's going hook 'em horns for Texas, but it's for Bethany. Let's go Bison. We've had multiple YSN players go there, and we can't wait for the latest one. Addie, we thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck in the end of your United basketball career. We hope it goes on as long as it possibly can, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Addie Blazer from United. I told you it was a great interview. It was one of those ones that just really, really one of my favorite ones of the season. Love the conversation with Addie Blazer. What a great athlete, great leader, just a great human being overall. So what a great conversation. We will feature more and more every day as we get more in, and you can keep up with the player profiles on our YouTube page. If you miss any of that interview by Addie Blazer, it is already up on our YouTube page in its entirety. Head over there, check it out. If you're heading over there, please hit that subscribe button if you feel so kindly enough to. The more subscribers our YouTube channel has, the more people we can just reach with the algorithm that YouTube has in place. Shocker, the way YouTube works, if it thinks more people like you, it'll send your video out to more people. So likes and subscribes help a ton. And then while you're subscribed, make sure to hit that notification bell. Ding, ding, ding. Right next to the subscribe button, it's a little bell. It notifies you whenever we post a video. And because of the algorithm of YouTube, if you don't hit that, you might miss some of the stuff we post. We are updating our YouTube every single day, whether it be player profiles, coaches' corners, post-game interviews, highlights. Some full games are up on there. A lot of great video content for you on our YouTube page. So make sure to head on over there, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give some of our videos a thumbs up, and help us out on our YouTube page so that can grow into something really, really awesome. We continue into the show as we go from a recap of last night to a preview of tonight. So we'll go back into the scoreboard, which is presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. And we will go into tomorrow. You can find the dates tab on the bottom of the page and click on the date that you desire. Tonight is obviously January 25th. So let's preview the games that are going on tonight. Mostly girls, a couple of boys games. Poland tries to stay undefeated in the NE8 as they travel to, I should say at the top of the NE8, not undefeated. Top of the NE8 as they travel to Lakeview tonight. Badger goes to Pymatuning Valley. That should be a big test for the Braves. The rivalry continues as Beaver Local goes to East Liverpool tonight. Wyndham will host Bristol. The Panthers coming to town. I always forget that's a panther. To me, that kind of looks like a bear with the circle ears, but it is indeed the Bristol Panthers coming to town against Wyndham. Brookfield travels to LeBray tonight. Champion hosts Campbell Memorial. We have Crestview hitting the road. Newton Falls on tap for the Rebels. Youngstown East travels to Niles tonight. We have East Palestine. They will go to Southern Local in the EOAC. Garrettsville Garfield coming to Liberty. We have Hubbard going to South Range inside the Thriller Dome. Lisbon goes to Latonia. Lordstown traveling to St. Thomas Aquinas tonight as the Red Devils are still winless on the year, trying to get that one win as the Heralds will try to stop them from doing that. Lowville hosts Middle Ridge, who is trying to keep pace with Springfield inside the MVAC Scarlet tier. The Tigers are hosting Sebring tonight. Girard and Struthers doing battle in the NE8. Struthers playing so well of late. The big test for them is can they go into Girard and knock off the Indians, which would pretty much, solidify the NE8 championship for Poland. If Girard loses again and goes 2 games back, there's not a lot that can happen well for Girard. They would have to hope that South Range beats Poland next week on Monday, which has already happened. So for that, that's not a wide hope there if they're only 1 game back. But if they're 2 games back, I want to pull up Poland's remaining schedule because I believe they have Struthers one more time, but I could be wrong. So bear with me as I try to conclude this thought process. So Poland has Lakeview, South Range. They do have Struthers one more time. So if Girard loses tonight, though, they are hinging on both South Range and Struthers knocking off Poland to get a tie. They don't want to put themselves in that situation. They'd rather root for just one of those teams to do it. Struthers got close. South Range already beat them. So if Girard can win tonight, hold off the Wildcats who are streaking right now, and just hope that one of those 2 teams can knock off the Bulldogs and give them just a share of that NE8. That is definitely the goal for the Indians. United in the EOAC traveling to Wellsville. Valley Christian goes to Columbiana tonight. Western Reserve goes to McDonald, the Battle of the Blue Devils in the MVAC Scarlet tier. Grand Valley plays their second game in as many days as they host Cornerstone Christian. Mohawk is hosting Laurel. And then last but not least, you have Richmond Heights. They will host Orange tonight in girls basketball. Now, there are boys games on the docket tonight as well. Hoban is hosting Spire tonight, and Beaver Local is hosting Brook. So those are the 2 boys games on tap tonight for the schedule. Let's go into what games will be on the network, what announcers will have you covered there as well. We go first to Poland at Lakeview. Sam Ballas and Jake Nicholas. The Lakeview boys will have you covered there. Gary Burton going to be in East Liverpool. I'm going to scroll up so you can see. There you go. Gary Burton will be in East Liverpool as the blue versus red rivalry continues. Beaver Local coming to town. The Wyndham YouTube page will have you covered for that game against Bristol. Ian O'Brien traveling to Niles as Youngstown East comes to town. I will be in the Thriller Dome for South Range and Hubbard. Larry Scragg will be in Southern for East Palestine versus Southern. Sam Torres is going to be in St. John for their matchup with Lordstown. Noah Doty will be in Springfield for the varsity-only game against Sebring. 6 o'clock start there. Struthers and Girard, that's going to be taken care of by Matt Marr. Gary Altizer is going to be in Wellsville for their matchup with United. Valley Christian and Columbiana will be on the network. Joe Eusebio going to be on the call there. We have Steve Hodge on the call between Western Reserve and McDonald. Tyler Hart's going to be in Grand Valley as they play Cornerstone Christian. And Eric Hughes will be in Mohawk for their matchup with Laurel. Both boys' games on the network tonight as well. DJ Oakley will be in Beaver Local for their matchup with Brook. Ty Bartell will be up in Akron for Hoban's matchup with Spire Academy. Reminder that there is wrestling going on tonight as well. West Branch are hosting Alliance. It'll be their senior night, so if you're a West Branch wrestling fan, make sure to go check that out. We talked about that matchup yesterday on Wrestling Wednesday with Gary Altizer. So that'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I want to thank Addie Blazer for giving us her time to give an interview and have one to profile for today. Great conversation with Addie. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Running Point continues tomorrow from 1 to 2. And make sure to check out all of our broadcasts tonight. ysnlive.com/live. Until tomorrow, this has been Running Point, brought to you